Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the very delayed and late start by Dylan Russell. Wanted to apologize to anybody that was actually expecting me to start on time. I'm very sorry for that. Suffice to say, I was playing Planet Zoo yesterday and was enjoying it far too much. Long story made short, what I did was that I stayed up too late, as you do when you mess up and decide that AFK doesn't necessarily mean away from keyboard. It just means not active on keyboard. So yeah, it's been interesting. So it's become one of those days with a lot of derpage in it since I actually got myself out of bed. And we're just going to take on not take on anything it's not the word. Super controlled? No? I don't know. We're just not going to take on something overly complex today. So it's not going to be just plain old building. Let's see, the cat's turned on and off. 8 Danish Modern. What have I got in my... Let's see. I've got over here the inner chest. Grab some fish. Let's see, just in case pile. Okay, we'll have to see if there's any good guys out there. I just need some more grindy work. What have we got over here? Lava. Is that lava running it over here too? Or was once upon a time? Nothing at the moment. What was I doing? What was I doing? Apparently nothing critical. Alright. Given that I was doing nothing critical, I will take a brief fly. Oh, that's such an eyesore. Maybe I'll change that. Maybe I'll make that a glass one. Yeah, sure. Morning, Vincent. Or afternoon, or... Yeah. Hello, how are you? So one of the things I was doing this week, let's see if I can get up here. Oh, maybe not. Come on. Aw. Ouch. Okay, so one of the things I was doing this week was to take some time while I was listening to other people's streams. Ow. Apparently smashed into a lot of things. But I was actually working on some of the well overdue art for the carpet thing. Let's put that on there, sure. So you can start to get a bit of an idea where we were. Oh, and fly from those. Wait, I started at the line and then I'm slowly working my way over. So the carpet is coming together slowly. You can see that there's a lot of blue, an awful lot of blue. Let's see, which reference do we need today? This one. So you can see we're slowly making some progress. You can start to see Petfile's hand sticking out there. So that works out fairly well. Once again, it's not something I can do well on stream because then I end up with no conversation whatsoever. Yeah, blue, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, not so much. Alright, so that's that one. References. There we go. And it's nighttime, so I just need to get out of here. Great, bad habit. I'm like, I used to sleep. Hey, kitties. All right. So in lieu of that today, I thought I was going to start with the statue, but the gray statue outside took at least 3 shulkers worth of blocks to complete. That's not filling up the inside. I didn't do any inside. I started 2 and then I just gave up on it, but it took at least 3 shulkers to complete. That was not counting into the interior. That's my complete copper collection right now. So, doing the other statue in copper is a ways off. And you can see when I take a look here, I have diamond boots and diamond tools. So one of the two things we could do is to go into netherite mining. I think probably the smart move is to do the copper mining instead. So probably get me a little further ahead. Let's see what we've got in our toolbox. Toolbox. Good. Got efficiency with silk touch for a lot of this. We're good. Efficiency 5 mending.
And there was much rejoicing.
Morning, Spring Purse. Whoa, late evening for you. Yes, definitely late evening. What have you been up to today? Hopefully you've had a good day. I was just checking my gear. As I've mentioned a few times before, and why I snickered, I do apologize, is just to make sure that I make sure I didn't miss anything. I've got a Twitch, lovely text-to-speech in my ear, and so the slight typo gave me a Serping Purse, and I'll be honest, that's really how my day's been going. So I overslept after playing some Planet Zoo. I thought, okay, this is a spot where I need to sit for a little bit and let something happen just to try and build up some more money, because I'd actually financed myself into a hole, not realizing what the problem was, which I did end up fixing. But anyways, point to that story was to say that I wonder everything's been slow lately. Okay. But the point of that was just to say that I should have gone to bed. I thought, I'm just going to sit on the couch over here and look something up on my tablet. 6:30 in the morning, I woke up. So I sat down probably about 2, I think, maybe 1:30 or 2. And yeah, 6:30 in the morning. Not Fantastic Sherlock Fox's influence at all, because he actually was smart and went to bed. Okay, let's see, I've got some random junk. Okay, that'll work. Yeah, so he went to bed. I was a numb person and went to bed. Numpty, there, that's the word I'm looking for. He was a numpty. Let him go to bed, and can't talk straight sometimes because I'm doing 2 things at once, and apparently my brain is having trouble with 1 track this morning. When one's playing and streaming, you need to be able to think and do in parallel, and series is defeating me. There we go. Okay, so I have a bunch of stuff. Yeah. I don't think I'm going to find cats down there. Let's put these there. Got a pick, so let's start with that. I'm trying to remember what I wanted the other one for. There's another pick in there, and I can't remember why I wanted it. Well, I'm not going to need this Hastings axe. I'll put that up top. There's a low-end shovel. Efficiency 2, silk touch. Okay, we're good. I have no idea what I need to do that for. I think I must have just hid something in here just because I needed stuff. Okay, cave vines. I'm gonna need lots of torches. That's what I'm gonna need, lots of torches. Okay. So in this case, what could I ruin? Nope, let's ruin some acacia. There's far too much around. That one. Oh, whoops. Not what I want to do at all. Silly. Let's go that. And do I have random sticks? I think I do, somewhere around here. I sort of labeled things, but it still didn't get me very far. Sticks. If you think 5 cats is annoying, just wait till I've got 31. Okay. I don't think I have any coal hiding in a random stuff box. One of the random stuff boxes. That's flint. Okay. I think I used my coal. That was kind of dumb. Try on the dumb, Dylan. just do that because I have a ton. And we're gonna need to steal one of those. There we go. Alright, just give me some to start so I can start making these torches. Do. Excellent. Maybe. Seriously wish you could speed up charcoal production. That would be really nice. Buckets are iron. I'm gonna need this one. Oh, one more iron over there. Let's move this one. I'll move it. Oh, I know I need that. I'll be fine without it. Lady's last words, she says she'll be fine without her iron. Yes. Okay. While I'm waiting for that to cook, he's doing a little bit of random running around. Or not so random running around, I suppose. And let's just do some consolidation, because I know that's going to take ever. I apparently still have Lightmatic turned on. Not something I remembered. Oh, just can't seem to get my brain going this morning. I need a few hydrates, I suppose. Those will get me going, I think. Wrong button. It's going to be interesting now that I noticed the new place, the new house, does not keep this world, or sorry, this setup loaded. So I'm not going to end up with nearly as much bone meal and stuff as I had earlier. One box of those, one box of those. Okay. It'd be nice if we kept the sheep farm loaded, but that would be, you know, a little too much to ask. This one. 64 and 6. Well, 9 currents and stuff are redstone and rail. So you can see I've got things labeled with, that's actually white on the dark oak. At some point, as I said, I'll come through a glow squid. So if we're down there today and happen to see a glow squid, then they will be some of the targets for today's digging. Let's put this. Too many sticks, it seems. Alright, I can put the rest of this acacia back. Ooh, that stinks. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, I've had times like that recently where our Wi-Fi network decided to explode. And I mean that in the kindest way. Basically, long story made short, it appears that every once in a while, one of our Wi-Fi routers, we have a mesh network at our house, and it appears one of our Wi-Fi routers will just decide that it does not want to play. So it will disconnect in an attempt to optimize the Wi-Fi part of the network, and that will blow up the whole kit and caboodle. As in everything stops working and eventually comes back up, but it just wants to stop working along the way. So, Fantastic Show Fox said that we were going to do some Ethernet over power line, just to give it a semi-wired backhaul to work with. And hopefully that will continue to do the trick. It seems level. It seems fine, but you never know, right? It's one of those can't really trust it things. Alright, so we've got a pick. That's some stuff to get rid of baddies. Let's sleep. Put stuff away, and then get out of here. So I'm going to need to figure out... First off, I don't need 2 ender chests. That's a bad news item. Did something happen? Did I do something dumb and I mined the ender chest? I would be really sorry. I mean, technically I should be going in my box of precious things, like gold and stuff, but not so much. Okay. I believe I had golden carrots as food, so we should be fine there. Where'd the organics go? I tried calling this plant-based. Didn't last. Do I have any meat-based stuff? Nothing that stacks with this, okay. So I guess we are out. So first things first, I'm going to bring up Journey Map, go to Cave Layers, figure out where I am. Cave Layers, please. I don't want to teleport. I want to move the map, thank you. Neat ravine-ish thing over there. I would love to be able to tell you what these green blobs are. I have no idea. It would be nice to know, but I haven't got a clue. Okay, so if I go showing the cave layers and then I go downwards, that's where we're digging before. Interesting that I didn't want to be underneath the crane. That's kind of funky. Alright. So let's just see where the end of this train is. Curiosity's sake. No. Some maps you have to use your right mouse click to move things, other maps you have to use the left. Train end is virtually... Just writing some quick notes here. Grab a pencil. Okay. X. So mine is about 2773. Alright. Sure. And then going the other way, how far do I want to go? Oops, too far. Too far. What's that? 2457? Sure, let's go 2453. I have no idea why I picked that number. It's like 320 blocks. What a dumb distance. Let's see. '73 is about here. Okay. So what I'm probably going to do is, I really don't, I'm one of those people who's little, I shouldn't say OCD, that's not the word. But I'm going to, well, there's a mine shaft really close by. Okay. Now this is vertical chunk 3, why 48 to 63? Why was I in there? I can't remember. 48 probably. And one of these days I should make a nice entrance. That would be sensible too. Okay, straight north from me, or northeast, to about 2515-ish? 32, okay. And off we go. I'm sure I will have forgotten something. No idea at the moment what it is. Do. Any left? I might as well hang up for 4. Come on. Tick-a-tock, tick-a-tock, tick-a-tock. All right. There we go. That's why I started where I did, okay. Where am I in this mess? Okay, so if I go in there... What's this? This is roughly... 2483. Sure, I'll take that. And I'll square off. What? 483. Okay. Oops. And there's some copper. Excellent. So, copper veins. What do you do when you, So, any of you who also play games that have AFK elements to them, what do you guys do when you should be going AFK and you kind of just don't really want to? What I mean by that, I was having fun just letting stuff roll last night, and I thought, oh, I'll come right back to it. And that got me in a little bit of trouble last night. What do you guys do? So I'm just kind of curious. 83. There we go. You can have this one and this one, so I don't have mobs. Oh. That was Skelly coming at me. Fun. Yeah, just a bit of a chill stream this morning. Like a bit of a doofus for what I did last night. But hey, can't dwell on it, right? What was that? Oh. You want to preserve that. Let's just go straight across. Yep. So, while it may be technically someone else, it's actually really funny that you picked that. Home safe and sound, well, I'm glad. Yep. Errands need to get done. Oh. I did bring a bed. Alright. So, let's move over by 2. I assume this bit's kind of dangerous. 1, 2. It's that wall over there. And this one. I quite like lichen. I'm liking taking this one out. Alright. Oh. Oh, that explains a lot. It's like 0 and it's nighttime. Yeah, not a great ledge to be sleeping on. Let's try over here. Alrighty, so the reason that we're out here doing some basic copper digging is, and listening to some tunes and chill is partly because I don't trust myself to do much more. And partly because, I really would like to try and do the next bust out of copper. But as you guys saw, the chest storing my current collection of copper is rather dry. Whoa, 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 whoa. Not happening. Dude, go away. Where in the love of Murgatroyd are you? Uh-oh, I'm not seeing underground. Okay. I hear you, I do not see you. That's disconcerting. Okay, fine. Let's go this way. How far to go anyways? 96. 5. Oh, 391. What number was I going for anyways? I don't know what number I was going for. What's this? 83. It's another 10. So I don't trust myself not to...
Hello.
Good morning, Fantastic Sherlock Fox. It's okay that you're late. I didn't see myself come online either. I don't know what I mean by that, is I'm not necessarily all here. Yeah. So the story on the base cam is that turned out to be a driver issue. So the NVIDIA drivers don't like me. No, just kidding. They had an update And apparently they're causing a lot of problems for a lot of people. Wow. Alright. So the answer to the problem I was having was to roll back. Roll back, roll back, roll back. Lovely. Don't shoot me. I can hear you, and don't shoot me. I don't like you. Just in case you hadn't figured that out. Skeleton. Skeleton. That fantastic Sherlock Fox. I like you very, very much. So yeah, I had to roll the NVIDIA driver back, and then everything instantly worked again. But same thing's happening for a lot of people, so just about any, not just about, but any camera that they were putting in didn't work. And it was actually crashing OBS completely if you tried to change any of the properties, so it wasn't just whatever cam I had was not being cooperative. No, it just turned out it was every camera. So I don't know what NVIDIA was doing, but it really was not having a good day with its driver. Should we go all the way? It does. 483, so it's this one. Oops, 84. I don't know, whatever. That's fine. 182 then, sure. Why? Because we can. Alright. The funny thing about the whole driver business is that I don't particularly need a face cam. I don't think there'd be much difference. I mean, you guys have never reported a difference in enjoyment of the stream, like in the amount you do or do not enjoy the stream. I've never heard a report of something different on that, so I just never really paid attention, I guess. But it just felt weird not being able to see myself out of the corner of my eye. And there are times that I want to use a webcam. It's not just a face cam. I mean, I use it for Lego, so that kind of put a complete kibosh on doing any Lego at all. Right? Is this my crossover zone now? Apparently. Okay. Yeah, I know I'm mining really high, and a lot of people say, mine lower, but we talked about this the last time, and that at the moment, looking for copper, which supposedly is at 47 or 48. So, you're at 47 or 48, right? I mean, 17's not a bad place to start. Yeah, so the other thing is I'm actually thinking, because the server shift has moved. Hey, Tiz, haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing
hello
well.
there!
What is this? Oh. Okay. I hope you are doing well. Apparently I am sleepy. So Tiz, what has been your latest and greatest build? I love the stuff you build, and I was just curious what you've been up to. Don't need that. I'm at a bit of a weird pause point, because I want to build another project, but I don't spend a whole lot of time online, so I have not got all the materials I need. And that's what we're working on today. When one discovers you need like multiple shulkers worth of copper, then it involves multiple streams of copper digging. Which works out well when I've overslept, so yeah. The other funny thing though, when I'm tired, or well, a little bit tired, I guess, is that I get to be far twitchier with the mobs. So me doing a super long 24-hour stream or something is not ever going to happen, simply because the sleepier I get, the twitchier I get about mobs, and the more likely I am to die. And I had read some faux statistic somewhere where someone had claimed that more hardcore worlds were lost to sleep deprivation than just about any other ridiculous cause. And I'm not sure whether or not I believe that, but in my experience at least, it would be certainly plausible. Oh, whatever, can't spawn anything in that size. Alright. I was coming to Fantastic Sherlock Fox the other day. Sometimes it seemed to me like I complain about not being able to find a copper ore, and then like 2 or 3 blocks later, copper ore. Or copper vein. It's like, yay! Not a loss in the slightest. But it's funny how that works. And yet, today it just seems to be behaving a little better. I mean, we've got 53 already. We haven't been out all that long. I really care? Yeah, sure, why not? I have an iron farm. Sometimes I like to just decorate with the ore itself. I don't usually worry about it very much. There may be iron ore left in other portions of this particular mine thing. Mine thing? Yes, mine thing. That's the word for today. It's the mine thing. And I'm trying to be better at watching my corners of the screen so that I can figure out when it's time to sleep. Well, no, sorry, not time to sleep. Time to turn around. Sleeping is kind of relevant when you're underground.
Following the leader, the leader, the leader.
Well, thank you very much for the follow, Hazel. There we go. Good, how are you?
Hello.
I am indeed. Actually, it's funny. I am having a good day, and I didn't know if I would be, but just having overslept the Minecraft night, but actually it's turning into a better morning than I originally expected. One of the things that helped and is your follow, because I know it sounds silly, but that definitely cheers me up a good deal. Another thing that has helped out my morning is, as I was coming downstairs, we have Google Home in the house that's just streaming all day long. It's basically our Ooh. Unfortunately, that's not the sort of thing that I welcome all that much in my channel. You're welcome to stay and hang out, but we don't do overt advertising. So, yeah. So please take your adverts elsewhere. If I'm interested, I will contact you offline, but we won't do that in that sort of discussion in chat. Thanks for your time, though. Okay, let's see. I'm just gonna block this up so I don't get mobs. What is this? 63? So we so yeah, we are having a crazy week this week because our kids are busy. My son is popular. And that's always a good thing for a parent to be able to say is their son is popular and people want to invite them to birthday parties and stuff. It's great as a parent to have that happen. The downside of it is when they're popular enough that it makes your weekend incredibly crazy busy. That's, the long and the short of it. But I'm glad he's not popular enough that he's having fun. Anyways, so I was actually starting to have a rough day, and this Google Home thing really cheered me up as well because it was playing a Great Big Sea song that I hadn't heard in a while. And for those of you that are familiar with the Canadian band Great Big Sea, they're an East Coast thing. It's not East Coast folk, but they're just more like pop folk, I guess. Not really sure how else to explain them. But in any case, as I was headed downstairs, the song was called Ordinary Day that I was hearing, and the lyrics basically talk about being a, hey, hey, hey. Let's see if I can do it right. So, I think it's like, hey, 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 it's just an ordinary day, and it's all your state of mind. At the end of the day, you just got to say it's alright. And that really worked for my headspace this morning. Because I was thinking, oh, this is a rough start, I was dumb, blah, 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 overslept, etc. And I was bragging on myself, and then back in the radio, it starts coming down the stairs, and kind of got stuck in my head. I mean, the lyrics go on didn't have absolutely nothing to do with that, obviously, or with my type of day. But the chorus was good enough to kick me out of it, so yay, Great Big Sea this morning. Nice. Did I get the other one? No, I didn't. Oh, there's more there than I thought. Really should just leave these holes. The problem with leaving the holes is stuff like this, where you suddenly discover that you have holes that are mobbable. And I do not like holes that are mobbable. So if I'm going to have stone generator up top, then I might as well fill holes with stone. Besides, it makes it... Oh. This makes the mini-map look neat, but I'm about to break into some real trouble. Yeah. Okay, well... we may have some excitement, I guess. I'm not wearing red armor, but... if I'm lucky, I'll be below them, and they'll just leave me alone. Just because I can hear you does not mean you have to be a problem. This. Oh, it's cool. Debating whether I care. Not really. I can come back and get it later. I'm not quite so sleepy. The reason for that is then when things come in and start shooting me at all kinds of places, I'll remember where the armor is suited for that, and so on. Because if I'm headed for the big complex of Mineshaft that I was in earlier. Not high on my list. Okay, let's see if I can get through this chunk, this row, all up to where my goal spot was, and then we'll head out to the other end of it, where it's a little quieter. But I really don't want to break into that mineshaft again. It's a little bit too crazy. Hey guys, do you have any iron for me? Oh, whoa! There we go. Let's just make this a little safer. There we go. And the other thing about this project is then I get to stock up some of the spaces in church with some more random overworld blocks underground so that we can use them for future projects. I mean, I did look at a palette that had a combination of granite and copper. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough of either. Either that or one. Oops. There we go. Alright, where are we going? 50. Are we leaving stuff behind yet? No. Very good. Now I recognize this in the world's fastest. Ooh. All lit up? Okay, we're fine. Sort of. Just keep mine. Just keep mine. So one of the things you guys will probably notice is it's not getting darker for you guys, and that's because I have dynamic lighting turned on, which means, of course, that you guys can see what's going on, but then it also means that I need to have the floor patterns showing up so that I know when I get to the point where I have to place a torch, because otherwise, aside from doing dumb things like going too far, here, 42. I hate those cave noises. Hate those cave, whoa, those cave noises. Always have and always will. Rather than doing dumb things like that, let's go. Apparently I'm above ground now. Let's see, is this my return? Yeah, it is. Okay. Let's just make it the correct amount all the way along. I can just run straight down this tunnel. This way. Alright, so we are headed to 2773 on the other end. I don't know why I picked a 73, but hey, it's Diecraft server, why not, right? And I went to 83 on the other end, didn't I? Huh, wonder why I did that. And I think I'm stopping half of your sentences again. So if I say something that doesn't make sense, that just sort of trailed off, occasionally I'll finish a thought in my head, and then not finish it out loud, out of my mouth. Apologies to everybody when that happens. Wow. If I'm gonna follow this coal vein, I'll be here all day. Maybe not quite. Figuratively. These coal veins are huge. This one, that. You can come to me, coal. Alright. As I said, I don't like double wide and I don't like more than double tall. And the reason for that is that I have problems with too many mobs. This at least limits it a little bit. Okay, where am I? This one? Okay, 27... Oh no, 2763 I suppose? Oh, 73, that's why I went to the end of the train. That's it. Alright. Do not know why. Not see my trail. Okay, I got some copper out of it. I want to dig up. That stinks. You camp in the hole. Fantastic. Okay, well, I'll do this way. Swap that. No, I only got 2 out of that, but at least I'm none the wiser. I missed more, I missed more. Right, that way I can pretend I didn't know about it. The problem with not doing this with a beacon, or one of the problems, aside from getting stuck in weird places without a pick, as soon as it breaks. Is that there's far too much time for mobs to spawn around you. Alrighty, sorry for not being super communicative. Just thinking too hard here. I really shouldn't have to. So what do you guys have for big weekend plans? Tonight through the weekend. Tonight, my son Scout Troop and I are headed out to a local provincial park. And we are going to be having just a propane fireball evening while they do some planning of what they want to do coming up. Not necessarily, fun. Plans aren't always the best thing, as in, excitement. That said, the kids usually have a good time. The temps aren't too bad right now. I'm not wearing my watch at the moment, but that's Chuck Fox who probably tell me whether or not it's nasty out there. Not nearly as nasty as it was the weekend, so I really don't care. And so we're going to probably be doing that, let them do some running around. Basically, these scouts are... I've never met a group of kids, like just scouts in general, who want to play tag more than just about anything else. I mean, I thought, oh, okay, well, we'll move to a new older section, probably going to be a little bit less tag. And what did they suddenly do? They started calling it Man Tracker, which basically is virtually, the way they play it at least, is virtually tag. So, we're back at it again. But at least we don't get as many versions of, like, toilet tag or something. At least when they play their Man Tracker tag, they don't, let's put... What's that? That's where the dirt shulker went. Okay. Plain old shulker, and I need toolbox. Let's give me one. Alright. At least when the older kids are playing their game, we at least don't get versions of tags such as the younger kids love to put something called toilet tag. And it's as cheesy as it sounds. Because in toilet tag, what you do is if somebody tags you, you crouch down like you are, I kid you not, a toilet. And then, in order to be freed, you need to... You're not missing anything, trust me. So in order to be freed, you need to have somebody come along and flush the handle. Like, I don't know who in their wrong mind ever came up with that, but yeah, that's the aim of the game. So quite confused. That's 64. Okay. Yeah, so whoever came up with that one, I'm not sure, but that's one of the Cub Scouts' favorite games. Alright, let's put this one there. They have, the Cub Scouts play a lot of other types of tag as well, such as, I think they played Revenge Tag quite a bit, and Infection Tag, or Zombie Tag, or, like, it's got a ton of names. Now, the thing about tag is that in flu season, it's not the greatest game. You know, you can make people sick with that. And unfortunately, the kids over the course of the pandemic, when we did get back together, are far more enamored with the idea of having to wash their hands a gazillion times than give up their beloved tag game. So, I don't know what we're going to do if we get another heavily encourage request to stop playing tag for high-fiving reasons and germ spreads. Now, in my province, it's not going to happen. I can guarantee you that if we're following the provincial rules, it's not going to happen. But anybody with an ounce of sense in their head will know that you just don't touch each other when it's flu and so on season. Unfortunately, not that many people at youth age are that wise. That's part of what we teach them, right? We have to teach people to help them make good decisions in life. Why do I keep doing that? Apparently I've got myself a nice little pocket of gravel. And the only reason I fill these up, as I mentioned earlier, was I don't want Endermen. Because if you get a 3 high spot, they can show up just about anywhere. and they're a pain in the butt. So yeah, we've got those two, and we've got a few youth who don't necessarily understand. Well, okay, maybe it's not true. Don't want to understand. I guess is probably the way I look at it. You can't say yes, you're going to play in a tag game. The younger youth, sorry, not the older ones. Let me correct that, because I don't want to disparage the older youth. But we have some brand new Cub Scout youth. I don't know whatever happened in their world, but somehow they missed the sensible message. If you're going to agree to play in a tag game that actually involves, you know, fighting somebody, might be a good idea to get it through that you're not going to be able to get any traction if you then complain to the scouters or the leaders that, you know, Billy's touching me. Yeah, that's how the game works. And we clarified to make sure it wasn't an inappropriate type of touch, but no, literally it was just, Billy touched me. Yeah, that's how you played the game of tag? And I didn't even get an O when we explained that to the kid. He's like, well, you really shouldn't touch me. I'm like, he's it. You were tagged. Why does this not make sense to you? And then, of course, at the end of the evening, this youth promptly then grabbed onto the leader's sleeve and wanted us to hold his arm or hold his hand until his mom showed up. Kid turns out to have rather notable separation anxiety issues. I was more baffled than anything else, just because this youth is supposed to be 8 or more. And I get that some people have anxiety issues and separation issues, but if you've just been told that you're not supposed to touch somebody, going to touch somebody is not in the cards. Oops, wrong one. I joined scouting because I wanted to get a taste of other people's kids. And sometimes I realized that in spite of what parents may or may not do as parents, some kids just don't make sense. So if I haven't said it enough times and bored you half to death, outside of being a streamer and a parent, scouting is what I do. Let's put them over there, just for good measure. There we go. So yeah, quite a long time ago I decided my kids were going to get into scouting. Fantastic Shot Fox unfortunately did not get much of a choice in the matter. This sort of became the, yep, here's what we're doing. I do kind of feel sorry for that. But I was a member of guiding and really enjoyed it. And felt that it was something valuable that I wanted my kids to have an experience with. Oh. Aside from the ravine... Oh, no, maybe not. Just a lovely little spot. So I wanted my kids to have that experience as well. And of course you can't send boys through guiding. And then I also discovered the program had changed a fair bit since the years I was in it. And it was no longer quite the place I remembered. So, no loss in that my daughter couldn't go into guiding because scouting in Canada has been co-ed for 20 years. more than 20 years, actually. And seems to be a right fine program. Now, that said, I mean, it's not that you won't hear me having beefs from time to time about the rules used to be so much different and kids are bubble wrap these days. It's all relative. And what I mean by that... Ooh, nice. Get rid of these. What I mean by that is that, how do I put it? We are bubble wrapped. Things did used to be different. 60. 1, 2. Oh. Okay. I think I got stopped by the water. Fine. This one will be short. That's fine. Oh. Problem. Okay. Let's not drown. Ooh. Let's not be in the dark and drown. Yeah. Okay. Glenn's doing something really stupid here. I don't need you drown either. Where was I going with my rant? This is first block. Okay, so let's do something a little different. Sorry for the distraction. There we go. Where is this all? I can put this. Excellent. Ah. One, two, three. Oops, not there. This one. Okay. There, I'm back on keel, I think. Ooh. Apparently not. Okay, we will push. Yes. There we go. So anyways, the program has changed over the years. There are reasons for it. I don't always agree with said reasons for it, but on the other hand, it's still a very valuable thing. And it's not about, like, being able to survive in the wilderness and whatever. One of the things I like about it, and based on the root of scouting and guiding really to start with, however, you may have heard about it, but the route for that I wanted my kids involved in is being able to meet kids who were having fun doing the same variety of activities that they want to try. So sometimes it'll be, might be not. Sometimes it might be building something. Sometimes it might be going camping. Sometimes it might be, going to play laser tag or something. It could be playing a video game. It could be whatever. But for the most part, the ones that come out of scouting tend to be good kids and not usually troublemakers these days. And now let me say that that's not always historically the case. I'm well aware, particularly by Fantastic Fox and a few others, that historically scouting can also be a really nasty place. I mean, there's bullying there just like there is bullying and such anywhere else. And people beat each other up and stuff. And then they get in a lot of trouble for it, by the way, But for the most part, my kids have been able to meet and hang out with kids that actually have similar interests and are, you know, what parents want to see for the good kid. Right? That good kid who doesn't get themselves in a whole lot of trouble. Now, I mean, there are a few that are, what do you say, technologically inept. So while they might be great outdoorsy kids, they can't for the life of them, or their parents, figure out how to, what's the word? Figure out how to keep in touch on a phone so that they get all the messages and we don't need an old-fashioned phone tree. Like there's one kid in particular who, both he and his parent are not that great at remembering exactly where all the... Let's reload this. Didn't I come through here before? You're right above me, aren't you? He and his parents are not all that great being up on where the meetings are, who discussed what, and when, and so on. Which is, I guess in that sense, it's a good thing then that his dad is the major leader, because otherwise we'd never have them there on time. And it's funny, because sometimes we just have to assume. I hate assuming things, but sometimes we just need to assume that they're coming to activities without actual confirmation that they're coming, just because they're just not up on that sort of thing. And it's kind of funny because as one of the co-leads, I'm amused because this particular leader, you know they're coming to camp because they do remember to pay on time every single time. So if you see the banking transaction go through that says, oh, that family is paid, then you know that they're coming. The best way to find it. Okay. So not as much copper as I would have hoped. I mean, so far we're at stacking 45. But could have been far worse. This one, we've done all at the end. Two. Let's put a torch. Actually, I don't need that one. Ooh. Yeah, that's real nasty. Let's see. No, I really don't need to see that part. Here we go. That wasn't even near my cave anyway, or my dig. Let's get this out. Must have been through here at some point. There we go. Make myself feel comfy cozy in my little hole, right? Yeah. Where am I here? It's noon! Yay! I'm not yet running time. Let's just see what uptime looks like. Only an hour and 15. Wow, I was really late. Apologies to all. So that suggests that it's possible any minute now. There's a chance that we could... oh, actually no, I did math wrong. I was going to say there's a chance that we could have a server reboot, but it's not. Because that's the other way, so the server would have restarted just before my normal start time. So with all this gravel, I think we're just getting a lot of stone and gravel and not a lot of copper. A lot of headache. Buddy, you're ugly. Did you know that? Alright. This music is brought to you by Harris Heller, I suppose? I think? Anyways. Oh no, Stream Tunes, sorry. It's a Canadian company. Not Harris Heller, Stream Beats. Well, that's amazing stuff too. It's brought to you by a Canadian company, but sometimes I wonder if maybe the reason it's easier to copyright is because it feels like it's from the 1980s, which is so out of date. It's like the background music to, you know, MacGyver or something. Or that stuff that some of us in this generation remember our parents exercising to. Did your parents ever do that in the house? Just, you know, mom having their aerobics videos or something like that, or dad riding the stationary bike, or skipping or something like that? Yeah, skipping. That's the one we had in our house. Skipping. I mean, we had our own fair share of Jane Fonda videos, and I was the kid who actually used them along with my mom. Yeah. You wouldn't catch me in anything like that clothing-wise anymore. Although, even though I was still into that with her, because it was sort of like some mom-daughter time kind of stuff, we did not do Richard Simmons material. Jane Fonda was fine. I mean, I think secretly, I think my mom had a crush on Henry Fonda, her dad. I'm not totally sure, but yeah, just those leotards and the tights or the leggings. Oh man, sometimes I really wonder about our old fashion. I mean, I like historic fashions. Don't get me wrong. I find a lot of stuff from the 60s or reruns of it to be incredibly comfortable. While I'm not a huge fan of some of the more restrictive elements of historic women's dress, corsets and gazillion petticoats and tons of layers, like having aprons upon aprons that are basically light dress, well, less complicated dresses, I guess, over top of your regular outfit. All those things. I would say even, 50s dresses and so on were far less ridiculous than the workout wear from the 1980s. And some of those should have gone the way of the dodo and never come back. I mean, it's one thing you need comfortable outfits to work out in, but... And I get that sweatsuits and tracksuits and stuff were not necessarily as useful as they sounded. I mean, they did make you sweat and stuff. But why anybody ever thought they were cool, as in fashionable, I will never know. I was in that too, so don't get me wrong. I'm not, saying, hey, I wasn't part of that. No, I certainly was. But that trend just... I was in that phase where I did it because everybody else did, and if you didn't dress like everybody else back then, you got teased, and I really did not like the teasing. So I've had long hair most of my life, but I did not successfully manage the big hair stuff, the 80s all that well. I've got hair that's, as you can see, for the most part tends to be tangled or flat or something very unappealing generally. And I've had it cut short. I just don't really like it short. It's not part of my personality. But in the 80s, I did try the big bangs thing and didn't like... I've never liked all that hairspray. Like, that was definitely not for me. So, the thing that always made me wonder who had any... I don't know, like how disgusting it would have been after one of the workout sessions in the studio. Because often you'd find people from these workout videos. Oh, I guess it's more water. Okay. You find people in these workout videos wearing their hair way up in the bangs, like the hairspray style thing, while they're imagining to be dripping sweat and stuff. And I can't imagine how gross and disgusting and sticky that would feel. I don't get it. Anyway, what makes sense to some people does not always make sense to everybody. Okay, and I think I went that way because... Ooh, zombie villager. Sorry, buddy, I don't really want to see you. You can just, like, go away. Let's put these on up here. Can I? There we go. So it looks like I'm stopped at 2760, which is fine by me. Nice round number and all, right? I wonder what that is, but I'm not sure I really want to know. Oh. More water. That's a strange place to have a single pocket of water. Yeah, this is very 80s. I'm sorry. This is not working for me. 80s. Green Dunes, what are you doing? Synthwave. Okay, well, in that case, we're gonna go Synthwave by Stream Beats and see if their playlist is any better. Yeah, it'll do. Sorry, guys. I was having an anti-80s moment. All I could think of was like Stranger Things. And I haven't even watched enough of it to know more about it than the music. Well, I mean, I know a bit more about it because Fantastic Dropbox has told me about it. But, soundtrack to that, and the soundtrack to just about every 80s movie you could think of. Including things like Wizard. Oh, whoops. What are some, actually, let's see, do we have... command buttons. Yeah, there we go. So speaking of 80s movies, one of the things they were notorious for me was Cryfest. That's 80s and 90s movies. I don't know if it was like the rebirth of the, I don't say the rom-com, but the chick flick. 80s movies seem to be either all action for the sake of action, or pointlessly romantic stuff that makes you all want to cry. They tried to hit you in the feels. I don't know what your most recent one. The last movie that made me cry, rather recently, I cried very easily at movies, so I will put that in there as a caveat. So, the last movie that made me cry is probably something that would not have made you cry. Just remember what it was, though, because I'm trying to remember the last movie I watched. That's probably an easier way of doing things. Wonder what the last movie was I watched. No. see. No, I don't think I credit Hocus Pocus. Or Hocus Pocus 2, because I know I saw both of those. I'm not sure what I credit last, actually. I'm not trying to dodge the question, I just can't seem to think of what it was. The Art of Racing in the Rain. I'm not familiar with that one. Please do tell. I'm very, very curious. The other thing about it is my parents go and see a lot of movies, and I just get so used to hearing them talk about whatever the latest movie was they went and saw, usually the superhero things and so on. So I just haven't been paying attention to what movies are coming. Not having cable and stuff like that, you don't tend to get a lot of those ads. But what is the Art of Racing in the Rain? Or is that something you're talking about having done, personally? Uh-oh. I feel a little better. No, I don't feel better. Baby waiting for me. Oh, I see. Not something that I'm likely to watch, but that's not saying a whole lot, actually. 46. Okay, fine. Let me chicken for a little bit. Experiment. Wow. I didn't expect the skeleton right there. Ah, well, now Ladder 49, I mean, Ladder 49 makes a lot of people cry, from what I understand. The other part of it is, you may have a connection to that most people don't. It's a may, but do. So that would probably have a bit of a bigger effect. So yeah, I haven't watched a whole lot of them, and as I said, I do cry at dumb things. Things like I'm pretty sure at some point I cried in the Goonies. I don't know. I don't recall it, but that's not necessarily saying I didn't. Fantastic Sherlock Fox has probably seen a few with me over the years where he just turned and saw me crying. It's like, whatever. She does that. It's not me, it's you. It's the allergies. It's the onions. It's Nice try. I mean, I cry at Disney movies. Okay, actually, that is the last one I cried at, now that I think about it. I think the last one I cried at was Big Hero 6. Yeah, probably. That's probably it. Ooh. Yeah, I can see that. Same sort of reason that I don't like lightning movies. I don't mean Lightning McQueen, but I mean movies with lightning in them. I lost a buddy of mine as a kid to a lightning strike. And that was a bit of a sad story in itself. So, sorry, distraction, not that I don't want to say anything about it. But yeah, so I lost a kid in a lightning strike, and the resulting effect is that stories where people get hit by lightning, not on my list, you know? Same sort of thing. Really, like if I'm one more, or it could be okay, well, I'll just throw it up here anyways. doors. I can hear these guys being noisy all over the place. Oh, whoops. That was dumb. Put this down. Yeah, something like that. I mean, my good friend, Fantastic Sherlock Fox knows, ended up getting offered a bravery award for it because, which was all kinds of awkward because he was one of our best buds. But anyways, so what, long story made short on this one, just filling you guys in. I'm pretty sure I've told this on stream before, but anyway. So years and years and years ago, obviously, when I was in grade 3, our school had a fire. And in that fire, it was over the summer. It wasn't during the school year, so no harm to kids or anything like that. You guys in my level? Oh, no, you're not. Okay. So anyways, years ago, the school had a fire. And in that fire, unfortunately, there was some structural damage such that the roof of the library fell in, and the fire had started in the classroom that had been mine. So anyway, ooh, darn it. So anyway, I was not going to that school anymore because when they had to pull people out for reconstruction of the building, my parents did not want to put me in the school nearby because it was known as a tough school and kids in elementary school were fist fighting each other rather regularly and that sort of thing. And that was not something that my mom wanted either myself or my brother involved in. So I was going to another school at that point. But my friend who did stay behind and who I reconnected with as a result of, strange enough, Girl Guides. There's another connection. But anyway, she and our mutual friend were coming home from our local canoe club because we have an artificial an artificial canal near us where there's a canoe club and they give canoe lessons to students and stuff like that. So because they were close to school and things, they were allowed to ride their bikes home. And so quick clarification, I've got a tickle in my throat that has nothing to do with the story at all. I just need to try and clear it and come right back, but it's itching me horribly, so I'll be right with you. Those days you forget you've got a webcam. Oops. In any case, back to the story. So they were coming home on the top of the hill. Basically, we live on like a river valley, I guess, and like our city is quite close to a river. So nearby. I don't want to hear you guys, sorry. Whether you're below or above, I just don't want to hear you. So nearby, rather than using the river itself, they actually have a canal system that scoops water from the river and then deposits that into the canals. And you can follow it quite a ways. But this canoe club is near the head of the river. No, sorry, near the head of the canal. So there's a ridge that they have to climb up to get to where most of the residential stuff is. And they were riding along the ridge when a thunderstorm was coming in, and they were racing to try and get home, at least to her house, from where my friend's parents could come pick him up. And they were coming home on the top of the ridge, and a lightning bolt struck my buddy. Or struck the boy. There we go, let's put it that way. And I guess I could use names, but his name was David. And struck him and knocked him clean off his bike several feet away, kind of thing. So my friend is a member of Girl Guides and had done swimming lessons and whatever else. Back in those days, they didn't teach kids to do CPR, but apparently she had tried not knowing what to do, but she was familiar with the like artificial resuscitation rescue breathing that kids were all taught back then. And so she spent probably about, I think the estimate was like 2 hours or something until the paramedics were able to take over. And because of course there was just the two of them on the hill, so they pretty much had to, or she was pretty much dealing with this by herself until somebody on the nearby road, like it was actually fairly major street, but on the nearby road had realized something was wrong and came over for what was going on, because she just, you know, when there's only two of you, who is there to tell to go call 911? So, interesting choice of, oh boy, trouble. Okay. So yeah, she got to the point where she managed to get him, like, she handed off to a paramedic. Of course, they got him to the hospital, and he was there for a few hours and stuff. But eventually, he died, basically. Enough stuff had just stopped working without proper circulation and so on, that his parents had to call it, which was kind of sad. That still bothers me. So, movies about lightning storms really throw me because of that. But she got a life-saving award from Girl Guides of Canada because she used their training to attempt to keep him alive. So that was that story, and it was pretty awesome. Of course, needs to say, as with a lot of people who are the right kind of people to help people, if that makes any sense. The ones that are the right personality types to be the helpers. I'm coming back. I want to get a torch in here. Didn't change her, right? You know, she's still the kind of person that would say yes to helping people. Even though people sometimes have their good days and their bad days. And that was pretty awesome that she was willing to take that on. Because, I mean, the sad part is sometimes these days people get scared of helping other people. So even if you know what to do, sometimes people just won't. And that's always disappointing. Okay, that copper's gonna be a little harder to get. Let's try swapping this. I think I might have missed one there. Uh-oh, there we go. So yeah, and the resulting part of that is just that, I should say, yeah, I guess I do understand it, sort of, but I would never understand anything the way that people in the actual emergency services organizations do. I mean, one of the things that stopped a different buddy of ours from being a member, she used to be a member of the, one of the volunteer fire departments, like, and not just, you know, the, hey, I'll jump in and help kind of people, but full training and the whole 9 yards. Just their place of residence didn't really need to have a full-on fire department. So, like, they had engines in the whole 9 yards, but didn't need to staff people. Anyway, but one of the things that stopped her was, she saw some particularly nasty stuff in a motor vehicle accident and realized, even though she didn't know the people, it blew her mind a little bit, because she realized at some point that by doing this for her hometown, she could actually at some point see an issue involving people she actually knew, and just the idea that that could ever happen was enough to make her quit. She went into, I think she started with 911 dispatch, like emergency services dispatch, but after getting trained for that, I think she ended up doing cargo dispatch for, like, FedEx or something. You know, you can see, like, so when movies portray things, usually for people, the issue isn't necessarily exactly what's put on screen. It's often what the associations are for that particular individual. Like, I think if I was to be an emergency services volunteer, at least, because being a parent is really important to me, but if I was to be an emergency services volunteer, I think I'd want to be the person who deals with things like, well, you can't limit what you get involved with, but things where people deal with, like, flood. Or sometimes, aftermath of forest fires. Now, I say aftermath because in the last few years, of course, there have been stories surfacing of things that had happened and what some of the stuff that people saw that they really wish they had never had to see involving forest fires. And it wasn't with people getting hurt, but it was some close calls. And of course, it's always the footage you see on the news, right? I'm not sure I could be a helper at that level, but if it's, let's clean up debris, or let's be there for the person who needs you, even if they don't know you, to cry on your shoulder when they realize that, all their photo albums are gone, or something like that. Like, that's the kind of helper I think it could be. I suspect, in all honesty, your skills probably would be best, it would have been best used in that fire department, in terms of EMS skills, the medical side, would be probably best if you're the one where, sometimes the fireman has to, or firefighter, pardon me, has to start in with certain elements of basic first aid before the next level, whose job it is, can take over. So the whole first responder element of it. Because they use first responders to refer to the term for people whose job it is all day long. But technically, the first responders are actually the bystanders, or the witnesses, or in some cases, the fellow victims. Those are really the first responders. And that's part of why in the first part of December, I've signed up for a first aid course. It's just, basic, standard first aid, nothing fancy. I think it's one with CPR on the end of it. But, it's through scouting, but I'm not doing it because of scouting. I'm doing it just because I believe everybody should have it, and if I really could get everybody on the planet to do it. Because part of the thing that people don't always realize is first aid isn't just about... Ooh. Definite pause after that for me, because I was actually at a loss for words. Not that I disagree, I don't. So, I just wouldn't know what to say to follow that comment up. But, where was I going with that? I can't remember what I was thinking of. Wasn't important anyway. Okay. Oh, yeah, that I think everybody should do it, because one of the reasons I think everybody needs to know first aid, 273, right? One of the reasons I think everybody needs to know it is because even in a minor sense, sometimes just having the right skills at the right time, and wow, that sounds like a scout thing, but having the right skills at the right time is really key in some of preventing further medical care than absolutely necessary. And sometimes I find, I'd say people in Canada are a little lazy when it comes to getting their first aid, simply because it's like, oh, well, I can run to the clinic. I can go to the the emergency or whatever, and I won't be saddled with figuring out how to pay for it or something for weeks on end. And weeks on end, months on end. But that's not the point. Like, part of the reason we have absolutely dreadful wait times is because not everybody knows the appropriate measures to take in basic situations, and when to go to the medical help because it is something serious. Case in point is that Sheep Queen is prone to nosebleeds. I was too growing up. And so she actually had 3 in the same day on the weekend. Not much fun. First one was slow. The first 2 were slow. The third one was a little bit faster, but we know what it was. Cold, dry air, and you're moving from building or moving from warm place to cold place and all that jazz. So, it's gonna happen. You're going to get people who have nosebleeds. But the key is to know, at least for us, when it's something that actually needs to be dealt with, because she can no longer handle it herself. The thing is, it's at the point now where she just kind of goes, "Mom, I'm having a nosebleed." And we kind of go, "Uh-huh. You know what to do. Let us know if there's a problem." And sometimes she goes, "Mom, where's the timer?" "Timer? What do you need the timer for?" "Oh, got a nosebleed." "Oh, okay." It's not a good thing. Nobody wants to have a nosebleed. But, more people that know what to do, the less that are going to freak out when it happens. That's the other issue I find, is that you get people like teachers at school and stuff that are all concerned. I mean, I know they have policies, but I have to tell you, that's a different kettle of fish. But, when you've got people that are all concerned just because they don't know what to do, and they think it's really serious and scary and stuff, that's like a basic burn in the kitchen. Did you know what to do? Nobody cares, right? It's just a thing, it happens, and you move on. But, but the thing is, we get people going to, I mean, I'm not saying everyone's a hypochondriac. Those people do exist as well. But I think wait times overall, and costs to insurance companies, and so on and so forth, would be lessened if more people knew what to do about basic things. Even the proper way to remove a sliver, or how to, even if you do the improper way, whatever that would be, knowing how to prevent infection afterwards, rather than saying, "Oh, I got a sliver, therefore I must go to the walk-in clinic and get them to remove it because then they know what to do afterwards and will tell me what to do." We don't need people cluttering up our medical system for silly stuff like that. So, yeah. The other part of it is, I mean, when you're out, the more you can take care of yourself, or at least sometimes it even works for kids in terms of, if they don't like knowing what the ugly part of the consequence is for their action, because they've had to learn about it. Well, exactly. I mean, check out wilderness first aid, or if you're out hiking or something, you've got a blister, right? Really big blister. What do you do if you have a really big blister on your foot and it pops while you're hiking? That's very uncomfortable, very painful. Some people, that's I am stuck, I can no longer walk, which makes no sense to me depending on the size of the blister. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. But it also seems, where I was going with that was to say that it also helps a little bit, I find, with kids, because sometimes, not all, but some kids will either be less freaked out by seeing the negative accident that was resulting from their actions, if they were taught about it in first aid, or if they, or well, that's it, really, and that's actually one of the things that Scouts Canada is harping on repeatedly, and it drives the leaders insane, but I understand why they do it. And it's really all about risk assessment and risk mitigation. And there are quite a number of, as I was going with, is even kids who will often second guess whether or not they should be doing some sort of dangerous activity, or at least approach it in a different way. If they know, oh, I've seen pictures of kids with bloody noses because they fell off and hit their face. So maybe I should either wear proper equipment or possibly not do the thing I was going to do that was kind of ill-advised in the first place. So there's those possibilities as well. Now, as put out earlier, not every kid is going to be smart or make smart decisions just because. But it's also handy to have, because in spite of my son will probably not be a first aid kid. He just does not like the sight of that stuff, can't handle it. Not even long enough to get through the training, I'm afraid. Full anxiety breakdown when we had him in the Beavers, which was 5 to 7 years old, and one of our scout age helpers, so young preteen, I guess, decided they were going to bring proper theater blood just to do the whole here's how you put on a band-aid lesson. Yeah, no, my son just, that was it. But somehow the slow drizzle or drip from his sister's nose does not bother him anymore. He goes, oh, she's having a nosebleed, what can I bring you? And there's times where I'm pretty sure that between the two of them, there's probably been a minor nosebleed here or there that I've not even found out about, because the two of them just dealt and off they went. Right? And that's part of the reason I'd like to have everybody have the knowledge, is just that then you have more situations like that where it's not that parents don't have to get involved. I mean, we should all be aware of what's going on with our kids, but it's nice to know when people have the skill just to be able to take care of it, because sometimes the delay is often a bigger issue than the problem itself. Then you get the kids that are dumb and it's like, I've got this great big cut on my hand. Not great big, but I've got this cut on my hand. But I still think it's a smart idea just to take the large chunks off of my hand with like pine needles or dirt on the ground or something, like gravel. And then I'm going to come for lunch. And my hand will be fine. Like, no, that's not how life works, buddy. But that's okay. The other thing was, if everybody did know that, there'd be far less call for people to be doing jobs like teaching those sorts of skills. Right? So I guess one could argue that sometimes we keep these people employed. It's a weird, twisted way of looking at stuff. Well, we're not doing great in that copper department, are we? How can I... That's interesting. That's an odd lag I had. And now it's catching up. What is going on? Well, one of the other things that it does is it rescues the leaders who suddenly discover, oh my goodness, I need a band-aid. I razz Fantastic Sherlock Fox quite a lot about his preparedness level. It's not just scouting and guiding, it's the whole be prepared for everything, every eventuality. I over-prepare for stuff. But we had a good conversation about that at dinner the other day. And my preparedness kit apparently doesn't include coverage if I misplace my credit card. Whereas Fantastic Sherlock Fox's solution when he's traveling is, as long as you get your credit card, you're good. And yet I can guarantee you I had my first aid kit. Not that would have helped anybody one bit, but it was just kind of funny. I figure I'd be more likely to be able to MacGyver stuff out of my first aid kit than I would being able to, like, turn my credit card into much of anything. But we just look at it differently, right? It's one of those things, some people are prepared for physical scrapes, some people are prepared for financial scrapes, emotional scrapes. There's just so many different types of scrapes you can get into. And the reality of the kids having their own first aid kit is, yeah, the older you get, the less that actually needs to be reported, simply because the kids can be trusted to appropriately take care of it themselves. So like at the scout level, which is 11 to 14, generally if it's a paper cut or you got a sliver or something like that, we're supposed to report. If we get a mass group of them, like, we did some such and such activity and 8 different kids got a sliver. Okay, fine, we'll report it. But it's like one sliver, sure, we'll just move on. It's not a big deal. Oh, we got to put next time I go around. So we don't. But the other thing we often find is helpful when the kids have their own kit is that sometimes we'll find that whoever used it last, for whatever section they used it in last, whether it was something worth reporting or not, they did not remember to write down what supplies were used so that the kits could be inventoried and have missing items replaced. So you find that you go to, I don't know, cover a small puncture wound or something, and all you really need is one of those weird little square bandage, like the double-sided sticky stuff, like the plasters, I guess you'd say. Not double-sided, sorry, but the sticky stuff all around it anyways, like a little spot pad, and you find that you're completely out. Why? Because somebody else used them for whatever it was they used it for at that point, and didn't write it down. So when the kids have their own, then it's a lot easier just to say, do you have one in your kit? And it makes it easy. We don't usually rely on that. We'll usually use the main kit if it's enough to get a leader involved. But if the kid has one, then we've discovered we don't have one, it makes life a lot easier. Rather than having to potentially use a bigger bandage and then worrying about potentially having to MacGyver a solution to make sure it doesn't get caught on things or stick to other stuff or whatever. But I was looking the other day for contents list for older pocket first aid kit that I had taken apart and used the packaging for something else, and all the pieces had been melded into one of my other first aid kits. Unfortunately, that kit's neither sold anymore, nor does anybody seem to have a listing, which is very frustrating, because it wasn't the greatest list, but it was nice basic kit, and then you augment it. And I can put it back, like I can put a kit back together there. It's not a big deal. It's just, it would have been nice to have the list of what was in the original kit. But I mean, I got it in 2017 as like a thank you for volunteering, so I can't expect much out of it. I used to be that mom where I didn't have 60 bazillion things in my bag, but I always had, I still do actually in a lot of cases, but I always have the equivalency, I think, what's the brand name? Polysporin is one of the brand names over here. But basically the antibiotic creams, and then I have the anti-itch spray, or creams or sprays, and then I'd have like Band-Aids with like pirates or something, or stars, or like glow-in-the-dark stars, I think was another one I had, and a few other, like I have fun stuff like that, so that the number of times just getting a cool Band-Aid has helped a kid not have a total panic attack through getting their knee scrape fixed, or their finger owie bumped or fixed or whatever. The number of times that a cool Band-Aid has helped is impressive. I've noticed this fire department friend of ours, I had a conversation with her about that once, about the yes, that. Hydrate, coffee. Let's see. I'm gonna show you guys this. You've seen it before, but
2, 4, 6, 8. Everybody hydrate.
aw, my picture didn't pop up. That stinks. There it is. Yeah. Yum. Alright, so now I've had half an ounce of coffee so far this stream. Shinigami Moroku figured that one out the other day that I'd totally forgotten was there. He goes, "What's he counting?" So I have a 12-ounce mug, and I ballparked every sip I take at approximately half an ounce. So for every hydrate, it starts counting half an ounce, which is quite different than other people. Some other people guzzle like an awful lot. That's not just coffee or whatever. It's like they'll actually have a good long hydrate. Where am I here? Where'd it go? Yeah, so long story made short, my son's not going to be one of those first aid kids who gets their permit and is like learned everything. I shouldn't say learned everything, but is the one who'll be there to easily help other people. But he might be like his mom. Oops. 73s, right? There we go. But he might be like his mom, or when we sign up for like the various positions that we're willing to hold officially on our paperwork, there isn't a spot for first aider administrator, but that's the reality of what I would probably do. So I have no problem whatsoever doing the paperwork. I have no problem whatsoever seeing it, or even helping with the actual injury. And it's not just the stuff that happens to scouts. I mean, people, you know, bonk their head, bonk their knee, rip themselves open. I mean, we've had knife cuts, and I saw someone glance an axe off their shin, and, you know, like, it was really not pretty stuff. But, what I've discovered over the years, I'm not the one with the bedside manner. Like, I've actually once or twice, to an adult, thankfully, who just wouldn't stop talking, which, I mean, hey, takes one to know one, I guess. But, I was having trouble thinking enough to be able to write the paperwork, or write down enough notes for the paperwork that we were going to have to submit, that I asked them, you know, would you please shut the flip up so that I can think straight enough to get this paperwork done? That's not what you're supposed to say to a victim. Yeah, no, or a casualty, sorry. Not victim, casualty. Right? Uh-oh. That would explain why it's dark. Okay, let's close up this one just temporarily. Do I have any more torches hiding in a hidey spot somewhere? Toolbox. Nope, no torches there. It's rockets. It's precious stuff. Oh, I got some torches in the emergency box. Okay. I have to remember that I'm using the emergency box ones. Put it there for now. That's supposed to be my, like, did you die box? Okay. There we go. And the other thing, while we're here, let's go back this way. Ooh. So I've passed through the 2-hour mark. Lucky you guys. Well, I'm going to take it to the top of the hour then, I think, and we'll call it there. It's probably a smart decision for the day. Because I like to stream for approximately 2 hours. That seems to be, unless I get on a real roll towards the end, usually that's about the extent of the stuff I can come up with. I mean, as you can see, I'm starting to go down a first aid route, which does not necessarily appeal to everybody, simply because it can be kind of gruesome if I got crazy detailed about what I was learning in class or something. I'm sure plenty of people we have as our friends on stream here could probably tell a number of horror stories, and that's not really what I intended for a bright and happy, cheery, welcome everybody stream. So, suffice to say, where I was going with it was that I bet you my son could probably be paperwork guy. But I can be paperwork gal, no problem. You know, take notes while somebody else is doing the work and asking the questions. Because I just don't have what it takes to be able to be appropriate in a bedside manner sense. Yeah. There, that's the tail end of that story finished up. But my son could probably do that too, and he's the kind of guy that You know, if somebody says, hey, I need a band-aid, he'd be the guy that has it, right? That's definitely something he likes to do, but he would not be the guy that wants to see the mess that caused the need for the band-aid. He's never been that, you know, hey, cool, wanna see? Kind of kid. I'm quite glad, because I mean, it also meant he hasn't been getting into as many physical scrapes. Am I going the wrong way? I am putting them on the wrong way. And how much do I care? Not a lot. Not a lot, as Paul Daniels says. Okay, let's go. Let's take these. Full pile can go up there. I'm only taking the ones that are full stacks at the moment. Clears up some inventory, but it also means that I don't end up with quite as many random bits and bobs laying around. Alright. You ever find sometimes when you're watching other people stream or you watch your favorite TV show that sometimes different phrases will just like pop up and stick in your head? And you start using them in weird places? I know I started watching DC. I don't use pieces parts. I razzed him about that quite a lot and turned it to be a regional thing. But I do find I refer to things as janky now far more. I used to use the term sketchy more than I usually do now. I use sketchy still for a bit for stuff that's all unreliable or just messed up. But I'm finding myself using the term janky a lot more than I used to, which is interesting how that works. But I'm still one that uses terms within the sphere that I'm in. So, for example, playing Minecraft, I'll use terms that I've heard from various different streamers or YouTube. Oh, good. Go away. From various different YouTubers and stuff. So, for example, if I've been watching far too much of Pixel Riffs, for example, and he's a poor example because he uses a lot of North American phrasing. But sometimes I'll find myself talking about putting a kettle on, which is kind of dumb because it's like, well, in my world, it's make some tea, not put the kettle on. But I'll start saying stuff like that. Or, what's another one I'm thinking of? I found myself briefly using the word gnaw a whole lot more, but it's more of a stretched out NAW, and you find that one happens a bit more from some of our friends on the Australian side of the streaming world, because it's something that they use more. I know Carter Show was talking about a no, yeah kind of thing. No, yeah. It's like, what? And then and how the idea came up that you would pick up on things that other people do. I've noticed a little bit that sometimes the Swanky Potato, who has co-based with Joe this season on one of the SMPs they both play on, survival multiplayer servers, the Swanky Potato's using that no, yeah thing a little bit. And sometimes it's intentionally tongue-in-cheek to tease our Carnage Joe, but other times it just slips in. And I think that those ones are more just due to familiarity with the person and the phrase. Stuff comes up. Oops. And that's where a lot of the usage of terms like janky has come from for me. Or to say things are jacked up. I will admit, I don't think I've ever considered using that phrase until I started hearing it rather regularly from Dadcraft. To me, prior to that, jacked up usually meant, like rather literally lifted up on a jack. You know, that was jacked up to me. Whereas jacked up now can just mean crowded, messed up, disorganized, anything basically abnormal, I guess you could say. Or out of your usual, ordinary way you tend to prefer things to be. And I'm placing clocks, not placing torches. Alright. So it's just one of those things I find interesting. Still do it though. We talked about this before. I used to do it when I was in tech support as a job. Is that I would use phrases like ring back, ring you back, I'll ring you. Which is a very UK thing because we had some expats as our customers. And so when they call in for tech help, you know, you have to call them back later, you tell them you're going to ring them. Which I guess is rather accurate from one point of view. I mean, that's how a telephone works. You make it ring. I mean, it's not like you're going to say to the person, oh, I know you keep your phone on vibrate, so I'm going to vibrate you. That just sounds all kinds of adult and wrong. And so this is part of why we don't use phrases like that. I mean, it just starts to sound weird, and you wonder if it's a euphemism. If somebody says, I'm going to jangle jangle you or bleep bleep you, which sounds more like you're swearing at them. There's plenty of other ones that we picked up. I mean, I'm sure there's some I picked up from my kids based on what they used at school. I mean, there was a day where my parents were using, you know, they never said grody. I know that for sure. But I know that the term gross worked its way into our house as in disgusting. Instead of being a measurement of a quantity. A gross of something. Alright, so this is a nice convenient spot. We've made our way back to the tunnel. I think we've sort of achieved what we set out to achieve. So rather than logging out in the tunnel, I will just take a brief moment to find whether or not I can get out of this hole the nearby way, or if I need to... oh, I blocked myself in. Okay. Let's run down here. Run, run, run. I'll never make these things big enough to fly in, just because I crash a lot. And also, big enough to fly in would imply then that I, what's the word? It would imply that it's big enough for mobs as well. Alright, so we're home. We've a little bit of stuff to put away, but I think it's where I'm going to leave it for now, because I've gone quite a ways over what most people normally expect from me. So I want to say thank you to everybody for dropping in. I really do appreciate everyone that came by, from Benson to Springpurse to Fantastic Sherlock Fox, and anyone else I may have forgotten to thank very much. So let's just take a look and see. It's Thursday. Ooh. I need to just refresh my live channel screen just to make sure that what I'm seeing really is the case. Yeah. So it looks like my cheater buttons on who's currently live were all out to lunch. So I think what we're going to do is just taking a look at who's here. Let's see. Okay, we did Minecraft. Most of the ones I'm watching aren't doing Minecraft. Ooh, let's raid someone we've never raided before. I think we're going to head in and we're going to take a quick look at some of the brand new stuff going on in the upcoming, I assume the upcoming snapshots, but I could be completely up to lunch. In any case, we are going to drop ourselves in on Lifeline. I don't think we've ever been there before, so the first time for everything, right? Okay. Raid sliced line. If I can spell. I think I spelled that right. Alright then.
Miscliff managed.
So as usual, if you have access for being a subscriber, you can go ahead and use the funky little raid helmet and the hype sheep. And if not, feel free to just go ahead and copy the phrase below that had the raid pickaxe in there. Oh, and thank you very much to Benson, Springpurse, Fantastic Sherlock Fox, Tis for Truth, and everybody for dropping by. So, I want to say, give Slice Slime all our best. I will not be back till next Tuesday, where we'll be doing something else, more Minecraft. And, yeah, we'll see you then. Have yourselves a great evening and a great weekend. Goodbye for now.
Transfer complete.